Good morning, guys, and welcome to the Monday Movie Memo. And the huge news from last night that broke, and we covered on the site, is that Zack Snyder, the director of Man of Steel and the soon-to-be director of the Man of Steel 2 sequel, which is unofficially titled Batman vs. Superman, is going to be staying in this universe and playing in Warner Brothers' sandbox and building a Justice League of America movie. We kind of assumed this. I think anyone who was paying attention to the project figured that Snyder was Warner Brothers' guy, and that if he's going to put a ton of work into building this Batman-Superman franchise and adding pieces like Wonder Woman, played by Gal Gadot, and casting Cyborg and circling potential cameos by Flash and maybe trying to do Green Lantern with Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, if any of those things were to materialize, that they would just keep transitioning over into a Justice League movie, which is where they're heading, and hand the keys over to Snyder, figuring that he's done as much work as he has up to this point, and he should just continue it. I think that's a bad idea. And I don't want to say this because Snyder's a bad filmmaker, because I don't agree with that. I'm on record as disagreeing with a lot of the choices that he made in Man of Steel. It has nothing to do with the destruction of the city. I thought it was an interesting angle to take, introducing Kal-El as an alien and then exploring how that would separate him from this planet that he's choosing to protect by the end of it. And I am really interested to see how that those decisions are going to lead to the introduction of Bruce Wayne and Batman into this conflict, because I think that they both come at crime fighting from completely different angles. And Snyder is definitely thinking on a big palette when he introduces this intergalactic element to this DC universe. Here's my biggest thing. Any filmmaker who stays with a franchise for now as many years as Snyder is potentially locked up to this DC cinematic universe, for lack of a better term, and he'll be starting with Man of Steel and then working tirelessly to reach a 2016 release date for Batman vs. Superman, or for Man of Steel 2, whatever they decide to call it, which is still 2 years away at this point. And then most people, although it wasn't specified in the story, peg Justice League of America to reach theaters by 2018. If Snyder decides to shoot the two films sort of back to back, which imagine how exhausting that's going to be, he could potentially maybe get Justice League of America into theaters by 2017, but that's not going to happen. It's going to be 2018. That is the next 4 years of an artist's life that he's committing to one vision, which maybe, if this is his passion project, and this is what this is all Zack Snyder wants to do, is DC heroes all of the time. Maybe, working on Man of Steel ignited a passion in him that he realized that that's exactly what he wants to do. And I mean, obviously, he's got comic background, directing Watchmen, and the graphic novels, the Frank Miller graphic novels that he turned into 300. I just think that by the time you get, 4 years, 5 years down the road, is that passion still going to be there? Are they still going to be able to pull these fantastic stories out of Zack Snyder? Or are some of the tricks that he used in Man of Steel and then in Batman vs. Superman, are they going to be spent, by the time we get to Justice League? I would argue that it always makes sense for a franchise to sort of, there's definitely something to be said for stability. But I think that a franchise this big and a series that with this potential needs to maybe just inject fresh voices, needs to give other filmmakers a crack at it. And my pick is right there in front of them. I don't see why they didn't give Ben Affleck a shot to direct Justice League of America. He's playing Batman in Snyder's first sequel. He's signed on to play Batman in the Justice League movie. And maybe, some might argue that it's going to be too taxing for him to play a part in the movie and direct it, but I would point out to you that he directed himself in both Argo and The Town and won an Oscar for it. Won the Best Picture Oscar. So, I think that it's too early to say that it's a missed opportunity, and that they could have handed the franchise to Affleck and maybe let him plan Justice League as he's shooting Batman Superman, and you'd let Snyder off the hook for a little bit. He's going to pour his life into Batman Superman. The expectations on Batman vs. Superman are higher than almost any other project, and if not for Star Wars Episode 7, I'd say that they're the highest that anyone's ever seen for a film. And there's no reason why Snyder couldn't be, I think DC wants him to be the Joss Whedon of their universe, which is, I get that. But, it's not like Whedon's directing every franchise that comes out. He's not directing any installment that comes out. We get the Russo brothers who take on, Captain America the Winter Soldier. You're getting guys like James Gunn who do Guardians of the Galaxy. Edgar Wright takes on Ant-Man. They're new voices. They're fresh voices. They're taking these characters, and then they all feed into Whedon's Avengers universe. And I don't see why Snyder couldn't be that guy, Like, he takes every other picture or helms the big ones. But I guess, Justice League is going to be the big one. So we know that Zack Snyder is directing Justice League of America. We don't know when it's coming, but it's absolutely in the plans at Warner Brothers. I like to think that they probably should have handed it over to someone different just to bring a little bit of innovation and creativity and rejuvenate the creative juices by the time they get to Justice League. But it sounds like it's going to be Snyder's vision. And, a lot of people in our comment section underneath the story have supported it. A lot of people have felt that they would rather see Affleck take the reins or someone different. It's an exciting time at DC. They're putting their ducks in a row, and production's starting to ramp up. They're going to start shooting Batman and Superman very soon. We'll find out what the production schedule will be for Justice League of America, I would imagine, in time, because the wheels are definitely turning on this. But weigh in. Tell us what you think. Do you think Zack Snyder is the right guy to continue this franchise? Do you wish that Warner Brothers went in a different direction? Would Ben Affleck be a better choice for you? Do you have a better idea? Of course, we always want to know. This is a big topic. We're going to be talking about it for, I don't know, a few years probably here at Cinema Blend. And so let the discussion begin. Thanks so much for tuning into the Monday Movie Memo. Keep surfing the site for all of our exciting content. And we'll talk to you next week.